Welcome to Southern Expressions. On tonight's show, an artist whose work takes her outdoors and more often than not leaves her swamped. Plus, another artist whose work takes him indoors because his art depends on the walls. Hello, I'm Ron Brown. When Don Jacobs' work hits the wall, it's not a bad thing. It means he's just getting started. Jacobs can turn those walls into works of art because he paints murals.
When I was in art school, I used to work really small, and my art teachers would always tell me, you need to loosen up and work bigger. And I would kind of work real constricted in small areas. As I did more and more of it, I realized that as I got larger, I had more movement, and it's just more expressive. Plus, it's gratifying to see something large, particularly in a mural. There are not a lot of muralists around. There are a couple that do it. So it's a fairly unique occupation, actually, which is, of course, a big advantage for me. You know, sometimes I'll do a mural which is a full wall or even more than one wall, and sometimes it'll just be a little area in a corner of a room or something, which is decorative. As far as the murals themselves, no. I mean, that's I consider that just a large painting, you know. When you're working on a canvas, you're a more restricted area. Personally, I just enjoy the size of a mural. It's amazing to be able to step back when it's over and see that large a painting. I mean, you're pretty much engulfed in the painting itself as opposed to just having a picture on the wall. And I kind of get off on that. It's a good feeling. I really enjoy doing it, and the more I can get out there and do it, the more word of mouth gives me more jobs. It kind of works like that. And so I'll do it as long as I can, meaning until I get too old to climb up on a ladder. But and then I'll move in some other direction, I guess. But yeah, I hope people will keep wanting murals, and I can keep doing them.
And joining us now live in the studio is Don Jacobs, the muralist.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you. It almost sounds like a movie title, The Muralist.
The Muralist, there you go.
Where did you begin your art training?
I went to school in Germany in graphic design. I was living over there and was ready to get an education, and so I went to school there and got a degree, and that's where I started.
Were you thinking art? Were you thinking painting at that time?
No, I didn't discover painting until I was about 33. When in art school, I did a lot of pen and ink, and worked really tiny and detailed, and so just avoided painting because I never thought I could make a living at it, and painting came much later. So.
And that changed. And how did that happen then? So it was an accident, a happy accident of some kind?
Well, yeah. For Christmas, I got a set of acrylic paints, and I sat on them for about 6 months, and then one day I just thought, well, I'll give it a shot, and started painting, and it turned out I was amazed at the detail I could get. And so with that began, you know, I started painting. So.
Yeah, and obviously you didn't start out on murals. You started out with portraits first.
Yeah, initially I was interested in the idea of being able to recreate the face, and with my thing for detail, I wanted to get as photographic as I could, and so I played around with that for a long time.
Was this acrylics or oils?
It started out with acrylics, and after struggling with a couple of portraits with acrylics, somebody showed me oil paints, and I discovered that because they take longer to dry, you can blend the colors easier, and it was a whole new world.
Well, let's take a look at some of your murals, and you tell me where they're. Well, actually, the first one we're going to take a look at, I know where it is. It's in the governor's mansion, and it's in the conference room. Why don't you tell me how you did this and how you arrived at the color scheme here, which is basically what it's just.
It's monochromatic because in a room that size, to have done this in color would have been a little overwhelming. possibly. I mean, we wanted something a little more subtle.
Uh-huh.
And I had done some stuff at the St. Andrews Designer Show House like this, and somebody approached me there that was working on the governor's mansion, so that's how I got into that. But they wanted a subtle look, and we talked it over and tried to decide what we wanted to actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted obviously a Mississippi theme, and but without all the Civil War and that, antebellum homes and all that. Just something. So we decided on a something more geographical.
Just a nature scene. And is that typical? Will you, with your clients, when they ask for a mural, do you give them a sketch? Do you provide some kind of idea beforehand?
Yeah, usually we sit down and they'll have certain ideas of what they have in mind, and I'll give them ideas, or in my input, how that might work, and then from there I'll put together usually a rough sketch, because there's no point in putting a lot of time in a sketch, because the mural, once you start painting it, it just kind of takes on a life of its own. It just evolves into something different. The governor's mansion, I did a fairly involved sketch, but and that was the basics for it. But it changed a lot from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm. Now we said that murals aren't that common. That would mean
around here.
Around here, but that would also mean that muralists are not that common. So
That's true.
You're a rare artist then in that respect.
Yeah. Okay.
Take my word for it.
Yeah. There aren't many. There are a few around. Yeah.
You would like to see, I would imagine, more of this kind of artwork. It's a large canvas. I would think that it'd be a little bit imposing to be working on a scale that size.
It is. Yeah. It's when I started the governor's mansion, I had told them, well, I'll do this and that, and then I got in there the first day, and I just sort of thought, well, what have I gotten into?
There are no small mistakes in a mural, I would imagine.
Yeah. They're pretty big.
Yeah, they're there, right there for everybody to see.
So I just got into it, stuck with it, and eventually it evolved and turned into a good thing, which is how they all work.
Another mural that people may have seen is the fish hatchery at Enid Lake.
Yeah, that was a project I did last year with, there were initially four different murals that were involved with the project.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a shot of there's a large aquarium there, and the aquarium is a replication of a riverbed. And so the idea was above the aquarium to have have it look like the river bank.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something I did at home, actually. I did it on a smaller scale, and then had it photographed and enlarged into wallpaper, and then installed here.
Okay, so that's not that's not.
It's not hand painted on the wall.
You weren't up there on a ladder and doing your Michelangelo, the best Michelangelo.
No, I do that, but I didn't do it there. So,
and how common is that? Is that more economical, or is that just a?
What that allows me to do is to not be just here in Jackson. It allows me to get out a little bit further, because the governor's mansion, for example, took about 4 months, and so if it's nice to be at home, and so this is one of the panels for the thing over the aquarium, and I was able to do this at home and in my pajamas if I wanted to. It's great. So,
good work if you can get it.
Yeah. So I spent quite a bit of time on this, and then they photographed it and made it into wallpaper.
And before we start to think that you're only doing nature scenes on the walls, you also will paint people as well, so it's kind of like a combination of the portraits and the murals. And you did this recently here at a restaurant here in Jackson?
Oh yeah, this is Malcolm White commissioned me to do this a couple of years ago. This is he had about a 5 by 6 foot folding screen that was deteriorating, and he wanted to do something with it. So I sort of rebuilt the screen and then painted this. Did the sweet potato queens on one side, and then on the other side of this is a Gulf Coast scene.
water and trees and that sort of thing, more like the mural work I do. But this was a lot more colorful and just kind of a rock and roll piece to go along with Hal and
an
Mal's.
homage to the St. Patty's Day parade, which,
right.
which Malcolm began.
And to the whole Hal and Mal's thing, you know. So I'm proud to have a piece at Hal and Mal's. It was an old hangout of mine in the old days.
Well, I guess to wrap it up, I'm kind of wondering, since you started out with just ink, then you went to portraits, and then to murals. 3 drastic departures there. I know the murals pay the bills.
And now I've got the music.
And in the music. So if you had to do just one, just for yourself, if money wasn't an object, which would you do?
Probably the music.
Just the music.
But I'd still paint. Yeah, I mean I like that too. It's all a different means of expression. The music is like painting a picture. I mean I'm writing songs and stuff. It's an individual picture. So.
Well, if someone wants to surround themselves with art, mural sounds like the way to do it. Then.
That's right.
You're really surrounded. Don, thank you for joining us on Southern
Thank
Expressions.
you. I appreciate it.
And we will be right back.